They told him his daughter was gone forever. He buried her memory, and his heart with it. But what if the grave he cries at every year is not holding the child he lost, but the truth he never knew? Stay till the end, this story will change how you see love and loss. Before this emotional journey begins, subscribe to Black Inside 2.0, where powerful stories remind us that family, faith, and love still matter. Caleb Warren was a man the world admired. Tall buildings carried his name. News channels called him unstoppable. Magazines praised his discipline, his intelligence, his rise from nothing. But none of them ever mentioned the quiet cemetery on the edge of town. Once every year, on the same date, at the same hour, Caleb left his private driver behind and walked alone among the trees. No cameras, no assistants, no guards, just him and the stone that broke his heart. He knelt slowly, like his body already knew the pain before his mind allowed it. The stone was simple: beloved daughter, rest in peace. Below it was a photo of a little girl with soft curls and white eyes. Caleb pressed his trembling hand against the cold stone. "I'm sorry," he whispered, voice cracking. "I failed you." Tears fell freely, tears the world never saw, because a billionaire could lose money and recover. But losing a child changed a man forever. The day everything ended, 7 years earlier, Caleb had not been a broken man. He had been a father. His daughter, Lily, was his entire world. She followed him everywhere, holding his finger in elevators, sitting beside him during late dinners, falling asleep on his shoulder while he worked. Her mother had passed away when Lily was very young, leaving Caleb terrified of losing the only family he had left. So when his company demanded travel, he hired the best caregivers, the best security, the best schools. He thought money could protect love. He was wrong. One stormy afternoon, while Caleb was in another state closing a deal, the call came. There had been an accident. Confusion, emergency responders, a small body, unresponsive. By the time Caleb reached the hospital, it was too late. Or so he was told. Grief swallowed him whole. He never saw Lily again. He never asked enough questions, and the silence that followed became his life. The girl WHO wasn't gone. Across the cemetery, hidden behind the thick trunk of an old tree, a teenage girl stood still. Her hands were clenched, her heart was racing. She watched the man kneeling at the grave. She watched her father cry. Lily Warren was alive. She had been alive for 7 years. But the truth was complicated and painful. That day long ago, there had been confusion, a rushed decision, a caregiver who panicked, documents that were wrong. Lily had survived, but was sent away under the belief that her father didn't want her anymore. She grew up believing she had been abandoned, and Caleb grew up believing he had buried his child. 2 lives destroyed by silence, a childhood without answers. Lily grew up in a small town far from wealth. No luxury, no private schools, no father. She lived with a woman who treated her kindly, but never spoke of her past. Every birthday, Lily waited for a call that never came. Every night, she wondered what she had done wrong. Maybe I wasn't good enough, she told herself. But she never stopped loving the man she barely remembered, the man with warm hands and tired eyes. Years later, when she finally learned the truth by accident, her heart shattered all over again. Her father had been grieving her, visiting her grave, crying for her, and she had been alive all along, watching him break. Now, standing just a few steps away, Lily listened as Caleb spoke softly to the stone. "I built everything, I promised you," he said, "but I forgot how to live." He laughed bitterly through tears. "I still leave your room untouched. I still expect to hear your footsteps." Lily covered her mouth, tears blurring her vision. She wanted to run to him. She wanted to scream, "I'm here." But fear held her still. What if he didn't believe her? What if seeing her reopened wounds too deep to heal? Sometimes, love waits. The letter that changed everything. A week later, Caleb received a letter. No return address, just a single line written in careful handwriting. "Please meet me where you last said goodbye." Caleb's hands shook. That cemetery, that tree, that grave. When he arrived, the air felt different. Hope crept in where grief had lived for years. And then he saw her, standing under the tree, older, taller, but with the same eyes. Father and daughter. Caleb froze. The world stopped spinning. His heart screamed what his mind refused to believe. "Lily," he whispered. She nodded. Tears streamed down her face. "I never left, Dad." He collapsed to his knees. 7 years of pain burst out in sobs. He held her like she might disappear again. "I'm here," she said softly. "I'm not going anywhere." For the first time in years, the cemetery held life instead of loss. Healing doesn't happen in a day. The reunion wasn't perfect. There were questions, there was anger, there were long nights of tears, but there was also healing. Caleb learned that money could build empires, but honesty built families. Louis learned that love, even when buried, never truly dies. Together, they chose forgiveness. Together, they chose a new beginning, the grave that no longer hurt. Months later, they returned to the cemetery. This time, Caleb didn't kneel. He stood tall, his daughter beside him. He placed flowers gently and whispered, "This is where pain ends." They walked away hand in hand, not as ghosts of the past, but as family reborn. Sometimes, the truth arrives late, but love waits patiently. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Black Inside 2.0, where every story reminds us that even broken families can find their way home.